New on Curiosity Stream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money. A Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
In times of old, in times of new, there's a God to follow to make it true. It's the Pop Culture Field Manual.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture 2023 edition, folks. Very excited to be back with you. We are talking about things that we like that suck. Things that we like so much that even though they suck, we're not ashamed to be made fun of for them because we just like them deep down in our little hearts. And it's a pure love. We're talking about pure love today, actually, you guys.
Yes, love has many forms, and some of them are hated by everybody else. So it's
ugly.
I feel like we're riding the fine line between our guilty pleasure episode. But the only difference is I'm gonna make fun of you instead of being like, oh, that's cool. Instead of being kind and supportive, the second I hear it, I'm gonna be like, that's fucking stupid. You suck.
I think so the difference to me is the guilty pleasure episode. You're talking about stuff that you know is shitty, but you still watch anyway. This should be things that you like and you don't think are shitty, but everyone else does, and we're gonna rip
You're
you apart
aware
more.
that other people don't like them.
Yeah, you understand that people don't like it, but you're like, I don't know why they don't like it. I love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and those people are wrong, and they're bad people for
like
not
a guilty
liking it.
pleasure is something
Those
that
people should be rounded up and whipped. And
This is a guiltless pleasure.
Yeah, this is
Yes,
guiltless
absolutely.
pleasure. This is just
Well,
I guess it would just be pleasure.
It's just pleasure, pure pleasure. This is the pleasure cave. Welcome to the pleasure cave.
Ooh, that sounds...
We're going off the rails a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit.
Going off the rails. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on this list that I glanced over, especially in your list. You got a long list of things that
I
you
wanted
don't
to give
like.
you guys plenty of things to go over.
I'll say, Izzy, though, you have stuff on there that I don't think is bad.
I know, and that's the thing. That's why I wanted to give you guys a long list. I wanted to list a bunch of stuff because I know that, like, there's some things on your guys' list. I'm like, well, that's not bad. I don't think that's bad, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to give you guys a wide berth. You know,
Okay.
It's a new year. It's a new me. I'm done being vulnerable. I got a thick skin. I don't care what other people
Sure.
think about what I like, and we'll
Awesome.
see. Of course, I have a personal section. I don't know if you guys did this. I have like movies that I like and things that I like. And then, like, personal things about myself that I think are okay that other people are free to make fun of me for.
Oh, perfect.
Maybe we'll
Even
do that
more.
after all the pop culture stuff.
Okay.
Sure. I feel like we're just such accepting people that we're all like, oh, you like that? Cool, man. Good for you. That now I have to I have to literally force myself to be like, that is fucking stupid, man. You are a terrible person.
Well, Cameron, I think I thought you would have an easy time with this because you're a former Ranger. If there's anything I've learned about the Ranger Regiment, that they are merciless.
Hate.
Give me
Yeah,
a
you
hate
ever
in your
see
heart,
that?
let it out.
Let it out. You ever see that the player haters ball? Speaking of, Dave Chappelle, the skit where they bring all the pimps together and they do the ball about the best haters. That is Ranger Regiment. That is Ranger Ball, where everyone's just like hate.
Maybe just
great.
channel that. You don't have to actually feel it, Cam. Just channel it.
Yeah.
Channel it.
And
That's
remember,
fine.
the roast, whenever they do those roasts, like on Comedy Central, when you roast somebody that you love. So the
Exactly.
harder the roast, it just means the more you love me, the more you guys like me.
Exactly. The only thing about roast is sometimes they invite people that have no idea they just go there to tell jokes because they have no personal relations with the person, and they're just like, I don't know you, but you are ugly and I hate you.
Well, let's roast, but let's keep it civil. Like no
Easy.
deeply personal attacks. We're not trying to cut each other.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
We want to stay
Understood.
friends after this episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, with that, you ready to get the ball rolling here?
Let's do it. You guys want to
Okay.
go like list by list? You just want to jump back and forth all like
Let's
popcorn
take
style?
turns so that
Okay.
we don't want to spend 20 minutes just beating the shit out of you, Izzy, and then switch over to us. Like,
Okay, that's fair.
I'm just imagining if we did that and you just didn't want to do the rest of the podcast, and we're like, all right, it's Cam's
Yeah.
turn. You're like, yeah, I guess.
It just keeps going.
Guys,
Because
remember
Izzy's
when I
list
said
is
I had-
long.
Yeah, remember when I said I had thick skin? I was wrong. I have to
Yeah.
go now.
I have to go. Yeah. And then we're going to run out of time before
Yeah.
it's my turn. And then it's just going to be an entire Israel hate episode. But
Yeah.
we're not going to do that. So we'll just go one at a time. We'll take turns. What about,
Okay.
so you start off, Izzy, since you
Okay,
got
I
the
will
thickest of the
start.
skins.
I will start, and Cameron, so if we're talking about things that you like you objectively like, and you don't think they're bad, but you know that other people like them, I don't understand. You're gonna have to explain The Wicker Man to me, and I'm talking about the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man.
Oh
because this
my
movie
God. I guess
is
I'm starting that,
hot garbage. Yes.
I love this movie, and I think it is a masterpiece, not in the sense of what it's intended for, because let's be honest, they label it as a thriller, right? It's like supposed to be like a suspense thriller
Tense.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember I remember hearing about The Wicker Man, and so on my list is not necessarily individual things, but they're just people and things they've done, and one of mine is Nick Cage. So
Cage.
Nick Cage, people hate Nick Cage. For example, my fiance hates Nick Cage, and she doesn't understand why I love the dude to death. Any Nick Cage movie, for example, like I watched one yesterday called Army of One. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Oh my God. You need to just stop what you're doing and watch this movie. Like, put it to the top of your list. It is the craziest movie I've seen in a long time. It's a comedy, but it's hilarious. But it's Nick Cage doing the most Nick Cage kind of stuff. It's basically about
Even
a guy.
more than the unbearable weight of limitless talent.
It's ridiculous. It's Nick Cage at his peak. So it's pretty much Nick Cage plays this guy. I think his name's Gary Faulkner, and it's based off a true story. Gary Faulkner got a message from God that told him that he needs to go to Pakistan and hunt for Osama bin Laden, only armed with a samurai sword. So he basically goes over, and the entire movie is his process, but the dude's a fucking loon. And he's like the biggest patriot ever. And it's just, you need to just watch the movie to really understand it. It's just out of control. But this is Nick Cage. This is exactly why I love Nick Cage, because he does everything extremely over the top, and it doesn't make any sense as to why he would ever need to do this. But taking that movie and going back to The Wicker Man is labeled as like a thriller, horror, suspense movie, but ultimately it turns into a comedy, and it's totally not supposed to be that, but it is 100% a comedy, in my opinion. And that's why I love Nick Cage so much, is because he's labeled as a serious, respectable actor, but in my opinion, he's one of the greatest comedians to ever live, and that is just his craft. So, The Wicker Man is an older Nick Cage movie, but it pretty much is about this guy, and he ends up becoming part, or like, is he a reporter, or he's like
He's a police officer.
He's a police officer,
who
yeah.
kind of undergoes a tragedy, and he's kind of lost himself, and then his ex-wife, I think, contacts him and says, "Hey, I want you to come and visit me on this island." She's on this island with
and this island is full of like these culty type Amish, like polygamous type
almost like
people.
honeybee. It's like a cult of like women.
Yeah,
definitely,
all
like,
women,
there
yeah.
are no intelligent men. I remember, isn't Daniel Craig? Doesn't he make a cameo in this of like just a dumb mute dude, just one of the dudes that just happens to be there?
Yeah, but all the women are intelligent. The guys are freaking like borderline on the spectrum, and like it's just he's trying to figure out like why is his ex-wife like here, and what was she doing here and whatnot. And it turns out to be this cult, and they burn this giant wicker man as a ceremony, and he ends up being trapped in it. Anyway, spoilers: Nick Cage gets burned alive, and he gets covered in bees, and he starts screaming, "Not the bees! Not the bees!"
One of the most iconic Nick Cage lines ever.
Yeah, so it's just not the most serious movie, and people hate it because the movie's terrible. It is
The movie
a
is
absolutely terrible movie. But in my opinion, like one of the scenes, he literally decks the fuck out of this heavyset
And she jumps
woman.
out at him. She jumps out of the closet or something.
Yes, she's like downstairs. She like jumps out, and Nicolas Cage, like, you don't expect it at all. You think, you know, being a gentleman or something, he'd be like, whoa, like, take it easy. But he literally out of nowhere just decks this woman in the face, like, hard, and just knocks her out. And it is one of the funniest scenes in any movie I've ever seen, and it's supposed to be serious. But yeah, The Wicker Man, I love that movie. I remember when I first was exposed to it, all these movies I was exposed to in Ranger Regiment, they're like, you need to watch this.
Wow, you watched a lot of Nick Cage and Ranger.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nick Cage is like an honorary Ranger. Con Air, Cameron Poe. So like Nick Cage is fucking up there. And I just remember this was like mandatory viewing when I was a private. They're like, you need to watch The Wicker Man
What?
if you want to be in this platoon.
See,
Yeah,
there's there's movies that are like so bad they're good, and then there's movies that are just bad.
Yeah, and The Wicker Man would solidly fall into that category.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Well, I
Like
respectfully disagree, my friends, and that's why it's on this list here.
Well, but so like you think it's a comedy, but it's not a comedy. It's meant
not
to
a
be this
comedy.
very serious. It's billed as a thriller, and yes, it's funny at the end when he's like the bees, and it's funny when he decks the lady. And isn't he also in a bear costume at one point?
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, like he's
Those
like
also
parts are
steals-
funny, but that's
infiltrate.
like 2 minutes out of an hour and a half movie that are worth watching. So that means there's
He also like
128
steals a
minutes.
bike from a lady. He punches multiple women. He like punches another woman on a bike and like steals her bike. It's like he's just going around punching women. It's crazy.
But I submit to you,
To me,
it would be better
this is
just
my
to
head.
watch
This is my
a
world,
YouTube
Chris. You're just living it.
supercut of those moments, which will take 3 minutes, as opposed to watching an entire movie that sucks.
Well, this is where I think it's genius, is because it
You
builds.
think it's worth sitting through all the Lily
It
Sobieski of it all to
absolutely,
get
because after those scenes, I'm like, oh, this was totally worth it. This was absolutely worth it, because you're like sitting through shit. You know, it's just like when you're doing a challenging activity, right? Why do people run marathons? Because they're fun? No, it's because when you complete it, you feel amazing. But during the marathon, you're like, this fucking sucks. That's
Yeah, but
Wicker
that should
Man.
not be the experience that a moviegoer should feel. That's not why we go to watch movies. We watch movies because we want to be entertained. We don't go, which is why most people don't go to watch The Wicker Man. Let me tell you why.
To each their own, Izzy. To each their own.
And no, I'm gonna get it. I'm getting all in your Kool-Aid.
Do it, man.
Cameron.
You think I care?
Come at me, bro. No, this is my major gripe with The Wicker Man. Not because it's a horribly done movie, but because the original Wicker Man actually had like a message to it. There was this guy who was kind of struggling with his faith, you know, and he goes to this pagan village, and he's kind of confronted with this stuff. And at the very end, it's actually kind of touching when he gets burned. He kind of has this moment, this kind of come to Jesus moment, where he sings this old hymn, right? And he dies with like some sort of dignity. He has like an arc. Nicolas Cage is just crazy Nicolas Cage, right?
Yes.
There's no lesson to be learned.
Nope.
There's no reason why. He just gets duped by his ex-wife who joins this lady beehive cult, and they burn him at the end. And then they go out and they do it to other people, because it ends as a bar scene where the lady's like practicing her feminine wiles, her alluring tactics to dudes in the bars. He's like, when you leave, will you take me with you, you know?
Well, that's also like they get pregnant by some random dude,
Yeah.
and then they have the kid, and then they have to burn him later. That's like the deal. That's why they do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There you go.
But
There you go.
my gripe with
I
the
don't-
movie, Cameron, and I'm surprised because you're not a boring person, but that movie is fucking boring. Like nothing happens for an hour and like 20 minutes.
Well, compared to running a marathon, it is nothing.
Yeah, but
okay?
running a marathon.
that
I
movie
understand your
is me
comparison.
running a marathon. Okay?
Running a marathon,
That movie is a marathon.
You accomplish something at the end of it. At the end of Wicker Man, all you accomplished was wasting 90 minutes of your life.
You'll never
I
get
get-
back.
You
All
call it a waste. I call it one of the best build-ups to a lady getting punched in the face. That is literally what I think it is.
Just
All right.
it's like it's an hour and 20 minutes of setup for one punchline, and that punchline is literally a punchline. It's a lady getting punched in the face.
It's a punch. That's
They have
a punch to the face.
they have a couple different quote unquote punchlines in
All
there.
right. Well, that movie
Well,
sucks,
folks,
and you suck a little bit for liking it.
Whatever, man. What do you have, Izzy? What do you have?
Well, what do you got? What do you guys think I have? Look at my list. You come at me,
The
bros.
first thing that really jumped out, is the 1980s Dune movie.
Yep, that's it, man.
That leapt off the page.
Chris, this is all you, man, because I've only seen the new one.
Cameron, did
Yes.
you like the new one even a little bit?
I mean, it was out there. It was like, I hated that fucking, it's totally meant as a sequel film. It's
Yeah, it's
like,
2 parts.
there's not a lot. I hate
It's
the
because
fact
the
that...
book is like 1,000 pages thick. But did you
I hate
like...
the fact that Zendaya is like has like 3 words in that entire movie, and she's all over it. Like, you think she's this major character, but she
She'll be in the
literally
next
shows
one.
up once.
That's not... Hold on. We're getting sidetracked here.
We're
What I'm
talking
saying
about.
is-
Hold the fucking phone, Chris. We're talking. You're giving me shit for a movie that's just a complete, just build up to nothing. That's what Dune was to me. It's like, okay, now
But
I
I
gotta
like
wait.
how we're not even talking about my Dune.
Dune's
yet.
not
We're
on the
talking about
list.
new
Hold
Dune.
on.
Okay,
I'm trying
anyway, sorry, but you see what I'm saying here. It's
I
like you
see
guys
what you're
give me
saying.
shit for
You
the Wicker Man as just waiting an hour for nothing, and that's what I felt the new Dune movie was. But I have no idea about the old
Okay,
one. So, Chris,
But when you were
take this
watching
one,
it,
okay?
did it feel like someone was pulling your teeth out? Was it the most boring, interminable, weird thing you've ever seen?
There was a lot of things about that movie. I'm just like, what is going on?
All right, but what is it? One of your worst movie watching experiences?
Well, not
ever?
one of the worst movies
Okay,
I've ever
well,
seen. No.
go and watch the 1980s Dune movie, and that will be one of the worst movie watching experiences of your life.
Excuse me, Chris.
It is boring.
Chris,
all
you're
the
probably
acting
super
is
right.
over the
You're
top.
probably so right, and I'm only saying that because I want to see Israel's reaction. Chris, you were so right.
No, just agree with me on this whole thing because it's terrible. It was directed by David Lynch, who is not actually a very good director. He had no business directing like an epic action film because he makes small, weird, twisty-turny, don't make sense movies. The
He had a
casting
problem
is
with this movie because that had a narrative, you know.
Huh? Yeah, he did have a problem with it because it had a narrative. Because he's like, I like the kind of meander, and that's how he sounds too. It's a terrible movie, and it's like 3 hours long of a terrible movie. So it's not.
Oh man, I couldn't wait when the extended version came out. I'm like, I want more of this movie. I want to see the little like bile extracting from the the baby worm scene.
Oh my god, Izzy's
yes.
the guy that likes taking his shoes off at the airport. That's who he is.
Izzy takes his shoes off everywhere. Do you not know Izzy?
I take
Izzy's
my shoes
always
off
barefoot.
all the time. Yeah.
No, but when he gets to
I
the
saw-
airport, he's like, no, I want to take my shoes off. I want to go through TSA and make it take as long as possible. He likes when he gets picked out of the lineup to have his shit inspected.
Yeah.
Because that's the only type of person that would like the extended version of a movie that was already about an hour too long.
I love that. I love the fact that David Lynch. I think he requested to have his name removed from the titles. Or it's an Alan Smithy movie for a while. I saw this movie when I was a kid, and it's the big reason why I love science fiction. There's a couple movies that influenced me to love science fiction, and this is one of them. Like, I love Patrick Stewart in this. I love the shields that they have. In the, I like how like his father dies. Like a bunch of people die like in the first 45 minutes when they get attacked by the Harkonnens.
The first 45 minutes. That's the setup for the rest of the fucking movie. It took 45 minutes.
Oh man, I love how dirty like Baron Harkonnen used to creep me out when I was a little kid.
Yeah,
because
he's
so
creepy.
dirty.
All his
And he's,
boils
like-
or whatever.
He's getting his boils like lanced by that creepy doctor guy. And Sting's in it. Sting's awesome. He's got that amazing underwear, and I resent that post you put out on Instagram today, Chris. Sting
Is that
an
from
amazing
Dune?
Yeah, that's from Dune. That picture alone should tell you everything you need to know about the movie. Why?
Yeah.
What
you
function
imagine
do
being
those underwear
Sting?
have?
Just based off that picture alone, could you imagine being Sting? You're the lead singer of the Police. You are a accomplished solo artist. You are one of the most respected musicians in your industry. And they're like, we want you to be in this movie, but you have to wear these underwear. And he's...
Well, what purpose do those underwear serve? Why are they pointy? That's not going under
Yeah.
anything.
No, you can't bend over.
They're
in those
stylistic,
things
you
that-
guys. They're not
You
meant
can't
to
bend
be
over.
functional.
And
They're
also,
meant to give a message.
Sting is terrible in that movie. His acting is
He's not an
terrible.
Sting is amazing. Everyone is amazing in this movie. They sell it. They have these amazing British actors. They got Das Boot, Jürgen Prochnow. They got
all these wonderful
Patrick
actors,
Stewart.
and then the lead is Kyle MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan, baby, with that beautiful 1980s flowing wavy hair. You know what I
Yeah.
love? You know what I love about this movie is the idea that he had to visualize the weirding way, and he came up with the weirding modules, the death by sound, which was awesome. What a cool concept. And they're riding the worms at the end. He's got to like pass the test and ride the worm and take the what is it, the water of life. His little creepy sister.
Yeah, who's also
my
terrible,
deep
and
is
it's like
coming.
weird dubbing on it.
My
Look, there's only
deep
2 good
is
parts of this
coming?
movie. What?
Did you just hold on? Did you just say my deep is coming?
Muad'Dib is his name. Pay
Muad'Dib.
attention, Cameron. That's his secret name, okay?
That's
All
a
right.
secret name that you should know because you watched the Villanueva version.
That's
It's
right.
the same. It's based on a
Which you
book, so it's all the same.
Obviously,
Well,
I
hold
didn't
on.
pay attention to.
Well, he
No,
was probably
not at all.
bored and weirded out by stuff, and he was also fuming because there wasn't enough Zendaya.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna set the record straight. I'm not a huge Zendaya fan, but if you market, but I'm just saying if you market something and then just fill it with empty promises, that's not whoever was in charge of that marketing is like, they should market the second one with that much Zendaya in it. But the first one where she literally just appears in visions for fucking 2.5 hours, and then finally she's like Akuna Matata at the end, and then fucking
I just
that's it.
love how much this chaps your ass. It's hilarious.
I don't know. Just from a businessman perspective, you could do much better as a marketer. Like, I'm always paying attention to marketing now. Like, for example, the dating app Hinge. Their catch line is the app designed to be deleted, right? That is an amazing, fucking promote that guy. But Dunes,
Yeah.
they're like Zendaya. And they probably paid her millions of dollars to just
I'm
stand
sure she
there.
got paid, yeah.
But she's
Oh, yeah.
going to be in the second one, man.
One thing
Well,
I will
then
tell you-
save it for the second one.
One thing I will tell you that I will give the Denis Villeneuve version over the original one is that the original one has a lot of voiceover, like because you're trying to get into their heads, right? You get that inner dialogue like you do in the novel. Denis Villeneuve did such a great job in his version of. The actors were so amazing. You can see what they're going through, right? You don't have to hear the thoughts in their heads, like which they did a lot of in the original version. Which
Yeah,
from
there's a
filmmaking
lot of that
perspective,
shitty voiceover that's like, have you ever seen Blade Runner? There's 2 versions.
right?
There's more than 2 versions, but there's the regular
It's like 4
cut,
versions.
which sucks because there's voiceover, and then there's the director's cut that has no voiceover.
Hey, I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that one small tidbit, Chris, but
Look, there's-
nothing else because that movie's amazing.
There's 2 good parts of the 1980s Dune movie. There's the worms, which are pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie, and the soundtrack's pretty great. The rest of it, there's wooden acting. I mean, the effects I guess are good, but Sting is terrible. I don't know how you could ever look at his performance and think that he's good.
He's so committed, though.
Oh my
I will
God,
kill
he's-
him.
And then Kyle MacLachlan is like Mark Wahlberg in The Happening bad.
Oh my gosh! How
Yeah.
dare you, sir?
Yeah, it's wooden acting. So
Wooden
I just-
acting. What does that even mean?
he's
Chris?
wooden.
Like
He
Kristen
like
Stewart. Think Kristen Stewart. in
Oh
every
yeah,
role
she's
ever-
Yeah.
terrible.
Watch The
just
Happening.
side-eyeing all the time, just
Yeah.
looking to the side.
What?
Yeah.
No.
actually don't watch The Happening. It's maybe
Don't
of
ever
all
watch
the
that.
terrible M. Night Shyamalan movies, it's the worst.
Which is saying something.
Which is saying a
Which
lot.
is crazy because I love terrible movies. Obviously, from The Wicker Man.
Oh well, then check out The Happening. It's pretty terrible.
I love. There's nothing. Okay, I should probably say this. There's nothing I love more than wasting my time. That's
Obviously,
That's
it's
a
The Wicker
marketing
Man.
ploy
Is,
right there. What do you gotta get a product
There you
behind
go.
that one?
I know. Yeah, no, seriously, there's nothing I love more than totally wasting my time watching movies that people absolutely hate. Because I love to say that I've seen and dedicated my time and it to get no return. I absolutely love doing that.
I like watching bad movies, and I like movies that are so bad they're good. Like when someone wasn't trying to make a bad movie, and they like The Room. Like he was trying to make a good movie, and he just failed. You know.
See, I still haven't seen The Room, and I've heard so much about it from Izzy, and then all our producers at Shiftfire, anybody that has like some idea of cinematic, like,
If
knowledge.
you like bad movies, check it out.
I couldn't find it anywhere. I cannot find The Room. I know Izzy has it on DVD, right, or something.
Borrow
like
it from
Blu-ray.
Izzy.
You have it on I'm sorry.
Oh, Blu-ray. He has it in
Blu-ray.
that HD.
I'm gonna have to borrow that. I just don't know what can play a Blu-ray disc nowadays. What, a PS4?
Do you have a game system? Yeah. Do you have a game?
Yeah, PS4 can do it.
I have a PS4, but I got to get it out of storage.
I have a Blu-ray
so-
player.
Do you? Wow.
Okay, I could spend literally the rest of this podcast shitting on the Dune movie.
New on Curiosity Stream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money, a Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
I think you've had it easy enough for long enough, Chris. Because
Oh
it's
yeah,
time to go
pick
deep.
something off my list because I can guarantee you nothing's as bad as Dune.
Excuse me? The 1994 Street Fighter movie is worse than Dune?
Oh, you're saying that you think the 1994 Street Fighter movie is worse than Dune?
By far, my friend. By far.
I don't know. I enjoy it. It's Jean-Claude
You
Van
shouldn't.
Damme.
You shouldn't enjoy it. You're a bad person for enjoying it. Kylie Minogue plays Cammy. That's the only good thing about that movie.
Raul Julia as M. Bison.
Raul Julia as M. Bison.
He's so good as M.
You
Bison.
Came to face a man, and instead you face a god?
He's so good. He died too soon.
Oh, he did die too soon. That movie probably killed him.
That movie, it was the last film he made, I think. So,
That
well, go
movie is-
ahead, give me both barrels. What?
That-
It's to me, it's the same as like Mortal Kombat. I was gonna put Mortal Kombat on the list, but I think you might actually like it, Izzy. So I knew you'd have a
I
hard
do
time like that.
I like Mortal
Kombat actually took itself a little seriously. Street Fighter, there's no respect for the source material in this movie. I mean, the UN, first of all, the UN being effective in anything that it does is a joke. They took the worst element. They took it's the same story when you try to adapt a video game to a movie. Video game, they don't understand anything about what makes the video game great, and they take the most superficial tropes, the most visual tropes from the video game, and they just slap them onto that movie. Could have been about anything, you know?
Yeah. Well, they had to have a reason for all these weird characters, including
Right, yeah.
Blanca, to get into fights. It's right there in the name, Street Fighter.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of street fights.
You don't. If you're gonna make a name, if you're gonna call a movie Street Fighter, don't have it be about some international incident, some giant world-ending problem where they assault a base. You got to have it about people fighting in the streets. All right.
Well, I mean,
You
it
don't-
is a JCVD movie, which, is an excuse for anything terrible.
Wait a
you just
second, is
slap
Cam
that dude
coming
on
to
it
my
and it makes-
defense? Are you defending
I'm
me,
sorry.
Cam?
I like that. There's a couple things I like in here. Like, I like the movie, and I like Mortal Kombat movie. I do. It's fucking entertaining as shit. It has nothing to do with the video game. Absolutely.
I
Well,
hated at the very end. They get everybody to do their stupid poses for a freeze frame at the very last second. Like it's just you can tell that nobody had any respect for the actual game. They're like, "What is this game? I've never played a video game before in my life. What is this? Okay, I guess we'll make a movie because Jean-Claude Van Damme signed up for it, and Kylie Minogue's kind of a thing nowadays. Everybody else we can get them from wherever we want to because nobody else. Ming-Na Wen was in it actually. She was
Chun-Li.
She was Chun-Li, yeah.
Chun-Li?
She's actually legit martial artist. She's had a long career, but no, it's Street Fighter. I saw it when I was a kid and I kind of liked it, and then every moment since I've kind of regretted it.
Since puberty, the second you hit puberty, you were like, "Wait, no, this is a terrible movie."
No, and it gets worse with time. Some movies hold up well, years, decades, even after they're released, like Aliens. But
She just couldn't go without throwing that in there.
I'm trying to redeem this session because we're talking about Street Fighter, which is horrible.
Well, we can also talk about
this one. It gets worse with time.
Because I also put The Quest. It's kind of like a tit for tat. I don't know if you've ever seen The Quest, but
I have, unfortunately. This is while I enjoyed Street Fighter when I saw it because I was like a younger guy, and I just liked seeing the explosions and the martial arts. I knew this was a horrible film. The Quest was a horrible film when I saw it, and that's saying something because my bar is pretty low when I'm a young teenager, And I think this was it directed by Jean-Claude? Yes, he directed this. Yes.
I like The Quest because it's like the movie, is it Kickboxer with the Kumite?
Is it Bloodsport?
Bloodsport, there we go. Thank you, Cam.
Yeah. Which
wow,
I
look
thought
at you
was
jumping
in.
in.
I love Bloodsport. I'm sorry.
Bloodsport's
Plus,
great.
Bloodsport and Kickboxer, both music's done by Stan Bush. So I had to force. I have to love it because my boy is doing all the music for it. So I'm like, I have to.
Bloodsport's a great movie, but that's why I like The Quest. Yeah. It's like Bloodsport with a little bit more whimsy. There's a little bit more ridiculousness to it. Because of the different styles of fighting.
I mean, let's be honest. JCVD, he's not actually a martial artist, right? He's a dancer, right? So
he was, yeah.
He was.
Wait,
but
Frank Dukes did the story? Oh my gosh.
Oh, Frank Dukes.
He's starting to reconsider.
No, he's like, damn it, my values.
The guy from Bloodsport, the real life guy upon whom the Bloodsport movie was based, Frank Dukes, the creator of Dukes Ryu, came up with a story for The Quest. Listen,
that explains it. That completely explains it. Oh my god, that is like a revelation.
That explains why I'm bad. If I could come up with if it's too close to the story of your average Super Nintendo game, then you're not looking good. And that's what The Quest is. He's some street level. The whole street level thing, he's the leader of some kind-hearted Robin Hood street level gang with all these kids, And
he wears a newsy hat. He's just a lovable scamp that knows martial arts.
Lovable scamp that can do the 360-degree kickflip.
Who's the guy that who plays the boxer that gets into the tournament but he has no business being there?
Well, now are we talking about
Bloodsport?
Bloodsport?
No. In The Quest. I love that we're conflating the two because they're so similar.
Is it James Remmer?
I think, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Because he's in it.
And he has some, whenever the guy that he changes his fighting style based on his opponent, and he's like, now he's fighting like a tiger. Now he's fighting like a monkey. I love it.
Oh, the dialogue's so cheesy. You know what the worst part of this movie is, Chris? If I'm being totally honest.
Wait, it also has Roger Moore in it.
It does have Roger Moore in it.
Wait, is The Quest basically just a knockoff of Mortal Kombat? I haven't seen this movie.
No, it's a knockoff of Bloodsport.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
They're identical in theme and everything.
There's a tournament somewhere. They go there. An American guy wins.
Of course.
All right, what were you saying? Is
the worst part of this movie is that starts off with Jean-Claude Van Damme coming in with old makeup on, and he starts telling us this is the story of The Quest.
I forgot about that part.
See, it's burned into my psyche. And then at the very end, he's done telling his story, and then he closes a book that says The Quest on it.
No, that's a little too direct.
This is a book now. You're right. I hate that. Was such a stupid visual. Just tell that you're done with your story. Walk away. You actually have a book that says The Quest on it. That's so
I'm okay
cheesy.
with it. It's the whimsy. It's whimsical.
The
whimsy. I mean, if you want to throw another terrible JCVD movie on, you ever seen Double Team?
Where he gets to play
with Dennis Rodman? It's with Dennis Rodman. That is
Double Impact where he plays
that one is hard for a JCVD movie even to watch, but it is out of control.
You need to pair JCVD's bad acting with somebody with good acting ability, and that's not Dennis Rodman.
Oh, no. The entire movie is just out of control. If you want a crazy movie that, like, you're going to be like, I just wasted time, that's Double Team is a fantastic option. And you will never forget it, ever.
We need to do an episode that's just
JCVD.
Cam's top 5 terrible movies that you should watch, but you shouldn't because they're a waste of time, but you should because they're a waste of time.
Yeah, Cam's top 5 waste of time movies that you will totally regret, but still will waste your time regardless. Yeah,
I'm in
put
for that episode because I would love to just go through your list.
Yeah.
All right, I think we need to wrap up the general conversation.
All right.
Before
That's fine.
I think
a
this
lot
was
of good
fun.
stuff. Yeah, no, a lot of great stuff. A lot of terrible stuff. Mainly what Izzy was mentioning.
Honestly,
But
Izzy's
that's
list though
okay.
had a lot of really good stuff on it that I didn't want to talk
did.
about.
I was having a hard time. Like, I'm not going to say anything bad about Flash Gordon, the 1980s movie with
That's
Max
great.
von Sydow as the Emperor of the Known Universe. So
Flash.
good.
That's fair.
That song. So
Yeah, the song.
It's
by
Queen.
itself
Great
is iconic.
soundtrack.
Yep.
Great
Yeah,
soundtrack.
good job on them. But I think it's time that we move on to our Patreon subscriber shout out. And this one is a new guy. What's up? Stephen Dubois. I'm going to say, I think it's Dubois or Dubois. I'm going to say it's
You said
Dubois.
it right, man. I thought you were gonna slander it, but
No, man, it's from French origin. I understand. Yeah. So, Stephen Dubois, welcome at the Salty Sergeant level. Good to have you on our Patreon family. Looking forward to interacting with you in the future. But then we have a fan question, Izzy, right?
yeah, that's right. Sack of flour via email. I know he says hello, my name is Cullen, but I think I'm just going to call him lovingly Sack of Flour from now on. He says, I've been a huge fan of the podcast. Recently. My work is tedious and repetitive, and the podcast really helps me get through the day. I feel like we hear that a lot.
Yeah,
I
if we
feel
had
like
a
lot of
nickel,
people
we'd be
with
rich.
boring jobs. Yeah. I'm glad we can fill the void for him. Anyway, I wanted to ask you a question specifically for Israel. That's why I chose this question. That being, you're such a positive, caring, humble guy. You
Bullshit.
even said in
Lies.
deployment that you had an exciting, don't slander me, you had an excited and positive mindset going over there. So I'm curious, have you always had a positive, half glass full mindset, quote unquote? And if not, how did you change from who you were before to show who you are now, or for who you are now? Thanks in advance for taking time to read this. Love the podcast. Love Shiftfire. And of course, love you guys' Gameology videos. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay amazing. So I've generally always been a pretty happy guy. I would say the root cause of who I am has changed. Before it was, I just wanted people to like me. Like I was insecure. I had low self-esteem. And so what can I do? What can I do to please you? How
What
can I make you happy?
changed?
Because don't ever disassociate with me, even if you are not a good person. Well, the thing that changed, maturity. I grew more self-confidence. I grew in my faith, more confident in who I am as a person. And then as a result, I think I enjoy myself, and then I just enjoy people. I enjoy people more than I did, and so that's kind of been, the engine has changed, even though the outward expression has kind of been pretty much the same. So.
Well, Sack of Flour, if you ever wanted to know how to get a glass half empty attitude, I can talk to you all day, dude. Everything
Start by
sucks.
watching Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Spend your days watching a bunch of Nick Cage movies.
Yeah,
The bad ones, not the good
Street Fighter
ones.
Movie, The Quest.
At least we're not wasting time playing Baby Boomer, okay?
I literally haven't played that game in like 30 years.
It's on the list.
It's on the
counts.
list. Yeah, I said I liked it. Okay. Shall we move to the
But-
game?
Yes, we shall. What do you got for us, Chris?
This is going to be a fun one. I call this game Does This Suck? And it's nice and easy. Okay, I'm going to name something, and you say whether or not it sucks.
Like a vacuum?
No.
Like your mother?
Sounds kind of
Oh
like
my
a
God.
subjective, man. I'm not so sure.
Hold on. While things like this are typically subjective, you'll have to use your noggins to find the objective truth of whether something sucks or not. So you're just going to have to dig deep down and think, did it actually suck? At the end of the day,
Okay.
does it suck? So there's 2 warm-ups to give you an idea. Okay, warm-up number 1, Gladiator. The movie Gladiator.
Did it suck?
Did it suck?
Did the movie actually suck?
Did the movie actually suck?
It's long.
I'm going to say no, because I believe in objectivity in art. And so I'm going to say that objectively, this is a good film. Now, I'm thinking like artistically. If there's like vacuum questions later on.
There's no vacuum questions. It's all pop culture stuff. There's no
Okay,
vacuum
all
questions.
right. I say no. It won Best Picture that year. It is a great performance by Russell Crowe.
Cam,
Joaquin
what do you
Phoenix.
say?
I think it's a good movie. It's just so long. It's talk about like movies that take up a lot of your time to get a
Pull
like,
the trigger. Does it suck?
it's a good movie. It's subjectively a good movie.
Objectively, Gladiator does not suck. It is a good movie. No matter what anyone says about it, it's a good movie.
All right.
Warm up number 2, Battlefield Earth. Does it suck?
That movie sucks hard.
I have an idea of what this movie is. Yeah, I'm gonna say it sucks too. If it's the one I'm thinking.
Battlefield Earth, objectively, sucks. It's a terrible movie.
Just don't tell Tom Cruise that.
Well, whatever. Or John
Yeah,
Travolta.
he's
Okay.
gonna come and yell
So
at you.
you kind of get a feel for it. I'm not trying to throw any curveballs.
Okay, all right.
Like, you just have to think about, does the thing really suck? Like, people may not
gotcha.
like it, or you may not even like it, but does it actually suck, or do you just not like it? Okay.
All right.
First one, Spider-Man 3.
Oh man. Oh, okay, I'm gonna.
I think
it
this
hurts a
movie
little
sucks.
bit.
I think
I
it
mean,
sucks.
look, I like this movie, but yeah, the movie sucks.
It sucks. Thank you. See, you get it. It sucks. Spider-Man 3 definitely sucks. All
Oh,
right.
it hurts my heart.
It's okay.
Topher Grace is Venom.
Well, compared to the two other ones, it sucks hard. It's not.
Yeah.
The arc is terrible.
Compared to
in this
most Spider, it's down on the list. If you put them all
It
in
should
order.
be almost last place other than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Okay. Avatar.
movie. Jimmy Fox crying right now.
The first Avatar.
The first Avatar, I thought it was great. I like it.
Yeah, but see, it's
I
the
think it's a
same
good
thing
movie.
with the second Avatar. Like, it visually, it's amazing, but the story's so vanilla. It's Dances with Wolves in space. It sucks.
Well, Dances with Wolves was a great movie, so why not put it in space?
Yeah, but
huh?
it's Dances with Wolves in space.
Yeah.
Avatar
I'm gonna
it
say
does
it's good.
not
I like
suck.
it.
It
Does
does
not
not
suck.
suck. No, because
When that movie came out, it was like a revelation.
I
We're
know,
like, oh my
technologically-
god.
I think
Technologically, it was.
because of its technological contributions also, and I'm being real here, I don't think James Cameron can make a bad movie. He can make a movie that you don't like, or he can make a movie that you're like, you have problems with, but I don't think he ever makes a bad movie.
I think he understands filmmaking and what makes a good film good enough that he just can't help but put those elements into his movie. They might be a little thin, like I'd say with the sequel. They're very
Yeah.
thin.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very thin. I'm surprised
The
that there's
story
going to
might
be
be
a
a
third
little off. I can see that.
It might
but
be an hour and a
as-
half too long.
I mean, but
Okay.
as far as like a disruptive movie that changed the game for movies to come, it absolutely is a pioneer. So yeah,
It does not suck. All right. Lost, the TV show.
Lost.
Does
I
not
couldn't
suck.
I couldn't get behind it. I think it sucks.
Oh no, it's one of those it was one of those game changer shows, man. Like when it blew up, and it was one of those shows back before we really started fragmenting as a society. Like everybody talked about it. You had to get there on Thursday night or whenever it came out and like
It was
watch
Wednesdays.
it. Wednesday nights, yeah. You would get together. You'd have watch parties. They kept the mystery going almost all the way through through the series. It does not suck.
Lost, the TV show, objectively sucks.
What?
And I love with a capital L, love the first season, but holy crap, did they just mess the whole thing up with the later seasons and the way that they ended it. It sucks. As a whole, it sucks.
I'd agree with the ending. The ending sucked, but
Yeah, but doesn't that
Well, the
that to
ending
me
is
kind of
part
ruin the rest of the
story.
show?
Yeah, it's like saying
it can
Game of
if you don't stick
Thrones.
the
Like
landing,
technically,
yeah.
Game of Thrones sucked because they ended it the way they did.
Yeah.
For how it changed the game, for as iconic a series as it was when it was out, I have to disagree, but the ending did suck.
Okay. All right. This one's really going to get Izzy going. The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. That's the
That's
is
the
that
first
the 7th?
sequel. That's 7,
So
yeah.
the
I'm
7th.
trying to take a
I
different
hated it.
perspective.
I
have
hated
my own
it.
perspective, but we're trying to say objectively, does it suck?
I think it sucks.
I mean, they had an impossible task. I don't think they executed it very well. But I would say if I had to make a choice one way or the other, it objectively does not suck.
I'm gonna disagree.
You know what?
and say
No,
it
screw that.
objectively
It sucks. I think it sucks. It sucks. It objectively sucks.
It
It
objectively
sucks.
does not suck. That was a fun
Oh
movie.
my god!
It was
What's
fun
the
to
thought
watch.
process here?
It was fun. It was light. I don't care what it contributed to the Star Wars universe. It was fun. As a whole, the 3 sequels suck. No
I
debate
mean,
there.
yeah,
Objectively.
It
All right.
got worse as I'm like, wow, you guys really didn't.
So
have
you're
a
just
plan.
saying it as like itself, like it movie itself, not thinking about how like the
Yeah, just
eighth
The
and
Force
the ninth
Awakens
go.
all by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had fun watching it. I think most people had fun watching it, and they were actually maybe a little hopeful about what the sequels could be, and then they just really dicked it up. All right.
And then they took a knife. They took a knife to our collective eyes and stabbed us all in the
And they went,
eyeballs repeatedly.
Okay.
Ryan Johnson's like,
Next
I'm gonna
one.
make the movie that I want to make.
God of War franchise. The whole franchise.
From start to finish, absolutely does not suck.
I've
Cam?
never played it, so Izzy, this is you. I'm gonna go with Izzy and say it does not suck because all the gameplay, all the trailers that I've seen on Facebook scrolling have been super cool, and I've been into it. I just don't have I don't have a platform to play it on. Otherwise, I totally would. But yeah, I'm gonna say it does not suck.
God of War franchise. Objectively, does not suck. It is amazing.
I
Okay,
used to use. You guys remember the live action God of War Ascension commercial that they had, where they had the song. You know we can get away because I'm calling your name. Oh, it's
That
the girl
does
running
not.
through the
Even with that
Spartans,
singing, doesn't
and then
help.
she
it.
runs. Kratos is there. He used to be a Spartan commander, and he picks her up, and then she turns to ashes, and he falls down. He turns into God of War. I used to use that for emotional prep for some of my acting scenes. Like it really affected me. But that's a little side note. The reboot was amazing. I played a little bit of the originals. The reboot, and then what I'm playing through currently with Ragnarok is amazing. Yeah.
All right. The Predator. Specifically, the movie The Predator.
The Predator does not suck.
Objectively, The Predator.
The Predator.
one-
Oh,
not
the
Shane
Predator.
Black,
Yeah.
with
not Predator,
with
not
Keegan-Michael
Predators
Key.
with an S.
Boyd
Yeah.
Holbrook sucks.
Hold on, which one is
Sucks.
this? Is that where
If
they
you
have
don't like
like
this-
the Super Predator and there's the retired army? Yeah, with Boyd Holbrook.
Predator dog that they shoot
Yeah,
in the
no,
head
that
and
one
becomes nice for some
sucks.
reason.
That one
And then
sucks.
dude shoots his own head off because they couldn't get him back for filming.
Yeah, no, that sucks. That
Predator
movie
suit.
sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
That one hurt me because I was so excited for it, and it was.
I was so excited. It was
Anything
terrible.
that comes out in the Predator universe, I'm super excited for. But this one sucked,
Yeah.
and I hated the fact that the Boyd Holbrook plays a retired ranger.
Oh,
and there's, like,
not the
this
Ranger tabs
scene-
again.
Yeah, no, and the scene where he's like in uniform, his beret is an absolute abomination. His beret
Okay.
is terrible, and that ruins the entire movie.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pick off the scab, Cam.
You're okay. You're okay.
All right. Last one. The Assassin's Creed. Just not all of them. Just Assassin's Creed, the first one.
The original. I played that one a while ago. I thought it sucked.
I played a little bit, loved it. Loved the idea. Don't know why they need a virtue signal at the beginning of every game where they say this game was made by people with different beliefs and multiculturally beliefs.
Yeah, see, that
Many
sucks.
different backgrounds. I'm like, all right, I want to play the game. Can I play the game? I know you don't like the Templars. All right, I get the subtext, but the game didn't suck. Same games.
The very
would say it
first
sucks.
Assassin's Creed objectively sucked.
What?
Yeah, the first Assassin's Creed, terrible. And frankly, I don't like the whole conceit. They should have just made a game where you're just in that time period, not the futuristic.
Yeah, I don't like the whole going back into
I
the
don't get
future
it.
thing and
Animus
reliving
thing.
it through an
Yeah,
it's
'cause
like,
I'm
an
like-
ancestor thing, right? That's like
Yeah,
your
it's like
ancestor.
genetic
No.
ancestry. Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you just do it from like, in the time it's plotted?
Have it
Just
be
be
the
like
guy.
you're a
Yeah.
League of
That would
Assassins.
have been nice, but they just did not do that. Okay, that's it for the game. You guys did pretty good. I feel good about your does this suck compass. So
Pretty good.
yeah, you guys fared pretty well.
Good.
Oh, that was a good game. That was
That
a good
was
game,
good.
Chris. I might have disagreed with some of your choices, but I
Yeah,
always
let me
respect-
ask, how did you gauge, before we wrap it, how did you gauge whether it sucks? What did you use?
I mean, a lot of it was just my opinion, but a lot of it is objectively. If you look at a movie, what works, what doesn't work, or a TV show, what works, what doesn't work. I don't know. I just kind of base it off that, but it was mostly.
Okay,
my opinion.
I thought you were basing it off actual facts, so that's great. So
Well, no,
Izzy's- yeah.
there is no facts when it comes to subjectivity about pop culture. So,
Sure. Okay.
yeah.
Well, folks, that's all the time we got for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope we got you through this shift, sack of flour. So, shout out to you, man. Folks, if you enjoyed this, make sure you are following us on Instagram to stay up on all of our latest. If you're listening through the Patreon, thank you. We appreciate you. And also, don't forget to check out our merchandise available on our Instagram. You can click the bio or the link in our bio to check out some cool merch there to support the podcast in your off time. But other than that, folks, cue music.
What's going on, everybody? You just listened to the free version of the PCFM podcast. If you want full-length versions of podcast episodes, plus much, much more, head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/PCFM podcast.
That is right, Israel. If you want access to this full episode, you have to subscribe to the Fuzzy Private tier, which is our cheapest tier on Patreon at $5 a month. But if you are interested in a little bit more, we also have the Salty Sergeant tier at $8 a month and the Lifer tier at $12 a month. So hopefully we will see you there, PCFM family. Cue music.